Recording right
Joe
now,
won't
then.
be joining. Okay, all right, go ahead, start recording. Good, thanks.
You're good.
All right, welcome everybody. Welcome to the FFREIA alternatives meeting. It is where we talk about all forms of real estate, how to make money in real estate and different things, except for tenants and toilets and landlording. We'll let people talk on landlording a little bit, but we really like to steer away from that because there's another group that does that, that's run by some very excellent people. Carl, we
Uh-oh. Did we just lose Scott?
can
temporarily. Give it a minute.
Okay, all right. And
You just lost
I'm
signal
on
for a sec.
Wi-Fi outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. Okay,
Okay, buddy, you're back.
All
Your
right.
your signal is low, but you're back. Go ahead.
okay.
Scott,
Okay, thanks.
are you in a Walmart parking lot? Where are you?
I'm at my sister-in-law's house. My sister-in-law and wife's sister and brother. We're at their house. I'm sitting out in the driveway right now in the RV. So
Sounds like a
I'm
code.
on a hotspot.
It sounds
What's
like
that?
code. Sounds like a code violation, but we'll leave it at that. Go ahead.
Okay, all right. And I'm on a Sprint hotspot. It's a little weak, so I'm sorry if I cut in and out. But with this group, we don't give legal advice and we don't give tax advice. You really should consult with an attorney or with a tax preparer or CPA on anything we say on here. We really just offer advice. We share ideas, and that's what I love about this group. And tonight we have a special meeting because Joe Lavabera is not here. He is off potentially putting a deal together, I believe, and knowing Joe. But Joe won't be joining us tonight. So tonight what we'll do, we'll go around the room like we usually do. If this is your first or second time on the alternatives meeting or with FFREIA, we'd like you to introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you'd like to learn tonight and what you'd like to do in real estate. Is there anybody new? I think everybody's been on before. Looks like.
I see a couple names I don't recognize necessarily. I don't know who Sarah is, if she's a member or not, because I don't see a last name. So that's not familiar. And I'm not sure which Jason is, because there's about 6 million Jasons in New York.
Yeah, hey, Andy. I'm Sarah, formerly Chromie, now Swank. And I am a member of FFREIA, actually. So thanks.
Welcome.
Thanks.
We know it's been a little while since you've been on, Sarah. Tell us a little bit about, tell everybody a little bit about your background. I know you have some good real estate knowledge.
Sure. I mean, I've just been, doing rentals and stuff for, since I started back when I was like 27 or something like that, 26, 27. I bought a fourplex and I lived in there for a while and then just kind of remodeled that one and got it rented out and then kind of worked my way up to some more rentals. And, now with all the law changes and everything like that, I just kind of am looking for something else, I guess. Still in real estate, but something that isn't so much of a headache with, the unknown of lawsuits and who the heck knows what else. So.
Okay, fair enough.
Sarah, are you thinking of outside of New York or in New York?
Well, I've looked into doing some notes, maybe some storage units or even some RV parks and stuff like that. So probably starting off more local as far as notes and stuff. There would be obviously more widespread storage units as well and that sort of thing. But, I'm not too familiar with them. Obviously, I've been doing rentals. So if there's something that's closer to home, just to kind of be able to, get a better idea and see it firsthand, then maybe move out of state.
Good. Thank you, Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
And Jason, which Jason is this? It's not on video.
He's
You
being
muted,
shy.
Jason. Okay. All right. Let's see. Anybody else new? Gabriel, how many of these you been on? Is this your second one?
At least
Second one this year. I think I've been with you guys. How long have you known each other, Scott? For like 4 or 5 years now, as long as I've been.
I think so.
Something like that. So, Scott, I'm from Rochester, and my name is Gabriel. To introduce myself to everyone, and I think almost everyone knows me. In any event, I'm here to learn, continue to learn real estate, but now I can do it full time. My focus is shifted to storage units, but I'd like to keep in the loop and keep networking with people to, once I acquire storage units, and maybe be a cash buyer as well, to expand my business and my portfolio. So I'd like to keep in contact with people as well as learn, and do other things. But by the way, Scott, I found a storage unit off market. I'm going to look at it tomorrow, and I'm going to see if I can get details to you next week. Just so you know.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good. You run through the numbers. If they look good to you, then send them off. We'll take another look at them.
Well, it's off market, so I got to call and see if they'll sell.
Okay, good. Great.
So yeah.
All right. So sounds good. And anybody else new? I think everybody else has maybe been on 1 or 2 of these before. All right, cool. This is a point where we go around the room. We do have needs, wants. If you have something you're looking for, or if you have something you're looking to sell, or you're in need of something, maybe like a contractor or something, this is the time to put that out there. It's just a quick one hit. We'll have questions and answers in a little bit, like you want to ask questions and such. But so right now, if anybody has anything you're looking for, or anything you're looking to sell, or if you're looking for a contractor or something like that, speak up now. Anybody have anything?
I've got something that FFREIA is looking for. So I'm just going to say we are trying to come up with a venue or 2 to do blended meetings. So it's a little bit of a tall ask. We're going to be sending out a survey in a couple days to everybody who's a member and who used to be a member, to see if we can find a place that's got space for social distancing and it has a decent internet connection. We can figure out the catering and stuff later, but we need a little bit of help finding a place. We've got our marketing firm's office, but they can only fit about 20 people. So for a meeting like this, or maybe Pat's morning meeting for the landlords, we can make that work. But we're having a tough time coming up with a location that'll function for general meetings and stuff where we have to have 50 people in a room. So if anybody's got any suggestions, email those to me. It's andy@armpurchasing.com, or send Susan a note, Susan@FFREIA, and we'll figure it out from there.
So Andy, you're looking for 50 per space, or
A space that can hold 50 with social distancing right now
yes.
as it stands, which is a tall ask with a good internet connection. So yeah.
Yeah, Frontier Stadium might be open.
Right. That's kind of where we're at. We're trying to figure it out. It's just not going well. Yeah, susanh@FFREIA.com is Susan's email. And the other thing I've got is the portfolio in Boston I've been trying to find a home for is still up for grabs. I've actually been given permission to open the entire package up. So I've got a bunch of 3s and 4s. The downside is that the seller is looking to find somebody who can do the whole kit and caboodle. So myself and my partner down in Maryland are trying to basically do the footwork and parcel this up as best we can, and then present it to the owners as a package. So anybody who's interested, you can shoot me a note. I'll put my email in the chat box. But it's everything from double all the way up to a 75 unit complex all around Boston. Lots of stuff in Cambridge, lots of stuff in downtown Boston, and all the surrounding kind of suburban areas north and off to the east. So if anybody's interested, shoot me an email and I'll get you the info.
So Andy, are you saying that there's not an active buyer environment up there? I know it's very expensive, but
It's off market and
okay.
it's not being listed publicly. The owner has been lowballed a bunch of times and is hesitant. And so we've got a 2021 pro forma, but they don't want to pull rent rolls or share that information. So I'm sure they're taking it on the chin, looking at the rents they're charging. It's mostly a value add opportunity because the rents are low. They're charging for a 3-bedroom in downtown Boston. They're charging 2,100. So it needs love. Let's put it that way. I'm sure the caps will be nice once it's fixed up, but this one's going to take some work.
Thank you, Andy. I myself am still looking for storage facilities. If you have something around the country, I'm looking to buy. I have groups of guys looking to buy too. If you come across something and you maybe want to be in on the action, maybe as a little partner on it or a wholesale fee or something like that, let me know. We just did another pretty nice one in Pennsylvania. We wholesaled it out to the guy who bought it, and I actually turned back around and got in on the deal too. So I'm a partial partner in it. So I wholesaled it, and then I became partial partner in it too. So, and that was a pretty healthy wholesale fee the way we split that one up. So for the other guys, I got back in on the equity partnership on it instead of taking the full money. So if you know something, let me know. Typically looking for the ones that are maybe run down or like the people are ready to retire type thing, or some kids inherited, don't know what to do with it. We've had a lot of success with those. So, and it can be anywhere from, I'm going to say 5,000 square feet up to, 100,000 square feet. So 10 to 20,000 square feet tends to be a real sweet spot for these facilities.
Anywhere in the country, right?
Anywhere in the country, yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Because you'll drive right there in your mobile unit to check it out.
Yep, that's the plan. Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, I just interject a bit. I'm sorry, had a little bit of technical difficulties getting onto the call, but be that as it may, I wanted to make sure folks know that May is the time frame when our illustrious speaker, Mr. Scott Spear, is going to be presenting all those things associated with how you do storage units. So looking forward to that event and that information and that Scott is going to provide us with. So super, just absolutely looking forward to it, and think that there's a lot of things that we'll learn, a lot of things that that Scott has underneath his little right cuff of his shirt to say, okay, here are some of those things that you can do. So just looking forward to it. Just wanted to interject that. Again, sorry for being a little bit late.
You bet. Thanks, Leon. All right. Anybody else have anything they're looking for or looking to sell?
Can I get in real quick?
Yep. Go ahead, Gabe.
Just to introduce you to the group, guys, I want to echo Scott said. He and I are on the same team, so I'm looking for storage units as well. And if anyone knows of anywhere in the country, please tell Scott or me my contact info. If you need it, whatever. I'm looking for the same criteria, 100% of what he's saying. So I just want to echo and introduce that as well, please, and thank you.
Thanks, Gabriel.
I have it's Leslie. I have what I'm trying to do is get in my first flip. So I'm looking for, I guess, something with an ARV around 100,000 range, and I will need some contractors if anybody has anything to be able to help me out with. they put the houses and the contractors, and I'm in need of everything.
I mean, certainly be willing to help you, Leslie, particularly with the contractors. Know a couple of folks who are really good at electrical, plumbing, and those sorts of things that, particularly if you're in the city, would present a bit of a challenge for you, given all code requirements and all licenses that are required by people who are going to operate in the city. So when you get to that point, just give me a shout. I'll be more than happy to share that input with you.
All right, thank you.
Good, thanks. Anybody else?
Scott, you
Yes.
mentioned, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I'm looking for deals. That's it. I'm done.
We're all looking for deals. All right. Hey, you're in the right group.
Good, good.
Was that
Who is it that
Brandy?
said that? I can't see a face. I don't know who that was.
I'm eating right now. You don't want to see my face. There's
Is
food
that
in my mouth.
Brandy?
That's
Brandy, is that you?
Brandy. That's Brandy.
Maybe.
Oh, okay.
That's Brandy.
Brandy Lynn.
Yes.
I'm looking for properties that I can do basic rehab flips. I like the, the western suburbs of Rochester, New York. So anyone who has anything in those areas, I'm looking to do things in that particular arena, trying to do at least 3 or 4 of those a year. So anyone who has anything that they think might fit would be more than happy to take a look at it. Thank you.
Do you have a price range you're looking in there, Leon, or kind of all over the board on that?
Yeah, I think that a lot of people look at price range, and I think that's important, but I basically look at the numbers. Have properties that I've paid unbelievable amounts of money on. And I provide this just as a little bit of a learning type of thing. It's not how much you pay in the beginning, it's how much you make in the end. And I've fared fairly well off of properties where folks would say that is way too much to pay. And, if you fix it up and you do it right, particularly in the suburbs, and I said western suburbs of Rochester. So we're talking about Webster, Fairport, Penfield, all those things, even into, counties next to Monroe, and trying to think of the counties and things, Wayne, Ontario, all those areas, you can do quite well. The key thing is the numbers have to work. And so that's what's the price going in and what can you sell the properties for? And I've been pretty much surprised, if you will, by the fact that with the way things have went, particularly over the last 6 to 9 months, the property values have just absolutely skyrocketed. And so something that you thought you were going to make $20,000 on, you make 35 or 40,000 on. And so I don't want everybody to sort of jump in all of a sudden, but that is what the real numbers are. And so anything in those particular arenas, I will be very interested in. Am I still on? Can folks hear me?
You're good,
No.
sir.
Okay.
No, we can't. You're out, Leon.
Oh, don't.
Oh, he's good. You got more to say, Leon? You're on.
No, I'm good. If people heard what I just said, I'm okay.
Scott, you mentioned a lot of real estate stuff here, but you mentioned contractors and third-party vendors. So is that game?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So you've been away for a while, and we don't have a whole lot of people on here, but let me tell you what's been going on.
Okay.
The city lead department is cracking down. They are just going all out with lead inspections, third-party testers. So what they did was they audited all of the third-party lead testers and fired most of them. You're out. You're on suspension for a whole year. So we're all scrambling trying to find a third-party lead tester for a C of O for whatever, and we're scrambling. And if anybody has a connection to a lead tester in the city, it'd be very, very helpful. So yeah, it was pretty sudden, Scott, and we're all scrambling right now. So just want to bring that to your attention.
All right. Anybody know anybody, third-party lead tester that's still certified and able to operate in the city?
Just put it in the chat room if you got one.
There you go. Good call.
Actually, you know what? I'll put mine in there. Yeah, let me do that.
I know for myself, I mean, maybe you guys covered this earlier. I've had a couple of properties that I actually sold, and it basically took the city of Rochester roughly a month and a half before they were actually able to update anything in the computer associated with the status of like a C of O. And the only thing that was holding it up was lead, the lead test itself. So that was a bit of a challenge. You may have already talked about that, but certainly, I mean, in one case, I called and said, "Well, what's going on? It's been like a month and a half." And so, and they basically said, "We don't have the paper to print it on," which was a bit of a surprise. So that process, I'm not sure anything is necessarily broken on it, but certainly there are probably some pieces that need to be fixed. So uh, uh, certainly can understand, Carl, your concern with those things, and I'm not sure what has changed, and probably you are because you're a lot more closer to it than I am, associated with why the city would be redoing some of their lead test stuff.
What do you mean? What do you mean redoing their lead test stuff?
Well, I thought you were indicating that there was some difficulties in getting lead tests done through the city.
Yeah, and the reason being that we have a particular individual, I won't name names, but who's been on a rampage of cracking down on, lead tests and what their role is as a third-party vendor. And so they have been performing audits behind each one of them. And unfortunately, rather than, here's a warning, or let's try to work together to get this on the same page, it's like you are fired, you're suspended for the rest of the year. And they did that to about 5 different very common testers right now. So we're scrambling. It's just, during the COVID, that's what's going on right now. So it is what it is, unfortunately, but we're communicating this issue with the city. We'll see where it goes, but
Sounds like the city's hard up for cash. Just saying. Just like having to double dip on garbage service.
may.
All right. Cool. Anything else anybody wants to share or bring up? We'll still get to questions. I do like to cover that. But before we get to questions, Andy, or I'm thinking that's Joe McGuire, can we do breakout rooms? Would we be able to?
Yes, Joe is not here. I am both Joe and me tonight.
Okay.
So I will set that up. You just let me know how long you want them to go for. It looks like we got 15 people in right now. So you let me know how long and I'll set them up.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's go. Let's go in with 4 people. I know they'll leave one room with 3 people, and that's okay. And what I want everybody to do, what I want you to do is introduce yourself. We'll go into breakout rooms, and if you've never done breakout rooms before, I think you have because you've been on these calls. We call them like mini networking rooms. And what I want you to do is introduce yourself, a little bit about your background, what your experience is in real estate, and what you hope to get out of real estate, and what you'd like to accomplish in 2021. I've had a few conversations with people about, setting goals and putting dates on things. And let's set a couple goals for 2021 for yourself personally. And you can share it or not. It's completely up to you, because I know goals are sometimes private for people. But let's put a date down for by the end of 2021, what you'd like to accomplish in real estate, or what you'd like to do personally. Doesn't have to be real estate, but maybe what you'd like to do personally. So, and then just network. And, if somebody, if you hear of a goal and you want to help somebody, maybe you can help them achieve that. That would be great too. So let's go ahead. We'll go into breakout rooms. We'll set it for, let's see, it's 4 people. Let's set it for 10 minutes. So we'll do 10 minutes. Everybody has 2.5 minutes each. Kind of police yourself when you're in it. And we're down a couple of people now. So, oh, I see one of them was that, but okay. So if we go into rooms of 4, I'll stand back, Andy, or I'll go into a room and somebody can stand back. If we go into rooms of 4, that'd be great. Does that sound good? So name, your background, what you'd like to accomplish in real estate, and what you'd like to accomplish in real estate in 2021. So what's that? Or personal, right? So, all right, any questions? Okay, now we're down to 12 people, so we have 3 rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that worked.
Yeah, that worked. Okay. Are you on this group?
I am.
Andy?
Everybody's in 4. There's 4 groups.
Okay.
There's
Okay.
there's 3 groups instead of 4. So there's a dozen people left online. It looks like a couple people got scared and didn't want to do breakout groups, so they ran. One of them being Brandy.
Well, that part is understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Brandy being Brandy.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we got only a few minutes. I just say my name is Leon Griggs Jr., and I happen to be president of Freedom First Real Estate Investors Association, and I had my couple of drinks of wine before Andy did. And it's one of those things where you do a whole bunch of stuff all day to be successful as a real estate investor. And then you like to relax with your lovely wife at the end of the day. So that said, so I've been doing real estate investing. Let me get a little bit closer so people can at least see my eyes or something, I've been doing real estate investing since, it's sort of weird because I'll be quick with this, but back in Texas when I lived there. In the 70s, my wife made the decision, we're not going to go on a honeymoon, we're going to buy our house, and that's what we're going to live in. And so that's what we did. 6 months later, we moved to Rochester, and basically we rented the house out. We still own that particular house. And so I've been doing real estate investing for a lot longer than most people have been around. And I'll use Andy McQuaid because I know his age because it's close to my daughters. And it's one of those things where it exceeds that time frame. So just that's my background. We only have a few minutes. So I know about Andy and I know about Tony. Gabriel, can you give us a little bit of inputs and thoughts on what it is you want to do, what it is you would like to accomplish
Sure.
as a real estate investor, and how can we help you?
Okay, well, my name's, as you know, Gabriel, as you see my name on the bottom there.
Yeah.
And I've been with FFREIA for about 4 years now, off and on. I recently sold my restaurant business. I used to have it for 22 years and I'm out of it now. So it's a huge grill off my back. But now I'm able to get into real estate full time. At first, I wanted to be a cash buyer, and I stuck around with it and thought I could get into it, and I still can. I still want to, but believe it or not, of all the people in the world, my sister turned me on to storage units, and she encouraged me to go into it, and that's what I want to do full force now. I still want to be a part of FFREIA, as I said, to continue network and expand my business to get into cash buying down the road. But my first and foremost right now is to acquire a storage unit. And talking about goals that Scott mentioned, actually was on the phone with Scott yesterday, Scott Spear, and he asked me, he says, well, what date, pick a date in the calendar, 2021, what day you want a storage unit under contract by? I said, August. He said, good. Now what day? I said, August 15th. Good. Now go right to your calendar right now, write that down. So that's what I did. So by August 15th, I want to, I will have a storage unit either under contract, whether I wholesale or buy and hold for it, whatever it may be. But August 15th, that's a Sunday, by the way, it's going to be there. I know it.
That's awesome.
Okay, sound like some very specific goals there.
Yes.
Super specific. It's good. That's what more people need to do. Don't do anything. Nothing gets done if you don't have a goal and actually work towards it.
Yep.
It's one thing to have, I want to, I might, maybe someday, blah, blah, blah. But if you don't put a date on it, it'll never happen. So
That's right.
that is my own experience, and I've heard it echoed dozens of times. So
I mean, one of the things that happens is that it's great to have the date, but then there's a lot of things that you need to do to get to that particular date. There's actual tasks and specifics.
Mhm.
And it's important to outline what those tasks and specifics are, because if between now and that date, you do nothing, then you're not going to achieve your goal and objective. So, work through some of those pieces. We can't tell you what those necessarily are. I think you have one of the best resources in Scott to help you through some of those things. As you know, Freedom First is a organization that is made up of individuals that freely give their time. So call Scott. Don't be afraid to ask him around some of the specific things that you might do to meet your date. I'd like August 20th better. That's my daughter's birthday, but yeah, I think the 16th is okay.
it's funny. It's my wife's birthday too.
What, the 20th or 16th?
20th of August is my wife's birthday.
Oh, okay. Seeing that the age is so close, I almost have to ask you what year.
80.
Okay, missed by a few years there, but okay. Super day.
Yep. She's officially a millennial, and I make fun of her for it all the time. It's great.
Oh, yeah. So Gabriel, any other thoughts, any other things that you want to ask us here?
I don't think so at the moment. I mean, as I said before, and I presented to the group, me and Scott both have the same lines, is that if anyone knows of anyone that's willing to sell a storage unit within the United States, undervalued property, with maybe like a 10 cap, or 8 to 10 cap, I mean, by all, please let me know. I'm constantly looking. That's the bulk of my day, is looking for deals every single day. I found a couple, they unfortunately fell through, but I'm not going to stop or give up. I mean, this is not my job, so this is what I have to do every day. So,
I mean, and clearly, and other folks, I don't want to just be the person talking here, but clearly, that's one of the big challenges, if you will, from the standpoint that if I'm doing real estate in the normal way of looking for buyers and sellers and all those sorts of things, the numbers, and I'm a math-oriented person, so numbers and scientific stuff I tend to follow. And so I look at the numbers. The numbers are so many times greater if I'm looking for a house to rehab or looking for someone who's a motivated seller in any shape and form. And when you get to motivated sellers associated with, storage units, the numbers dwindle quite a bit. That's not to say you should stop. That says you need to be much more engaged so that you're able to then touch base with those people who are really willing to sell at the price and structure that you're looking for.
right, exactly. And it's along with those same lines, is the asking price is not exactly what it's worth. I mean, I saw one, me and Scott actually saw one yesterday. It was on the market for 900. I'm like, Scott, this is worth 450 all day. What is this thing? He's like, yeah, forget about it. Like, they're not going to take it. So, I know what I'm talking about though. And also,
Yeah, because it's just like anything else, are you going to buy a property that's in the worst part of the worst city, for that amount of money, and you think it's worth 450? It's just not, So we probably should give. I'm not concerned about Andy. He's not gonna be talking about a whole bunch of stuff. But what about Tony? Tony, what do you have anything you want to talk to us about?
Well, I'm in the process of doing a cash out so I can continue, my investing. I'm looking at another apartment building. That's my goal for this year.
So when you say cash out, you're saying cash out some of your single family units? Where you just trying to understand there?
Yeah, cash out some of my properties. I have 23 doors, and I'm looking to just take some money out, and so I can, purchase some more investments. Yep.
So what are you doing to market those 22 doors? Are you marketing them openly, or what? Where does things stand?
They're all rented, everything's fully rented. People call me every day needing apartments, housing. So I have no problem, renting them. I mean, a lot of it's word of mouth for me as far as the marketing at this point.
Yeah, I'm
like I
talking
said,
more. I'm talking
Mhm.
more from the sales standpoint. Did I misunderstand? I
Oh,
thought you were
no,
looking.
I'm looking to cash out. I've got some equity in most of my properties, and I'm looking to take some cash out.
And so that means you're going to sell them, right?
No, not going to sell. I'm just going to take some refi cash out.
Okay,
out, refinance.
refi cash out. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm sorry. Mhm.
No, that's my mistake. I didn't ask
10 seconds.
appropriate questions.
Oh, okay.
5 seconds.
That's what my goal is for this year.
Okay.
And I'm working with Adam on a couple projects.
Well, the only reason that I was thinking about doing it was, you can get more money for your rentals. So that was my motivation for that.
All right, we're back on full meeting program. Scott, go ahead.
Excellent. Thanks, everybody. I'm not sure what happened. That somehow I got kicked out and I was sitting in a room by myself, which is fine. That I told Andy that. And he's like, I think you got kicked out. I'm like, well, I was just sitting in a room by myself. So, so I logged back in and I got to join with a couple people. It was, I think, let's see, Sarah was in our room, Leslie was in our room, and Marlene Schofield was in our room. And it was fun just to sit in and listen to what they had going on. So.
All good stuff. You're a little laggy, Scott.
Nice to get a
There we
little bit again. Yep, I am.
You're back. You're strong again. You're fine.
Okay, thanks. Can you read my meter scale? I wish I could.
I can, yeah.
Hold on. Okay. Yeah. So I hope everybody found that beneficial. We always do when we do them. And does anybody have a goal that you'd like to share to the group? If you do, I'll let you speak. You don't have to share somebody else's goal, but if you'd like to share your goal, go ahead and share it with the group. Maybe we all can help you get there. Am I blacked out again? Nope.
You're good. It's just nobody is tripping over themselves to volunteer.
I
All right.
can. I will.
Great. Go ahead.
I could use some help finding a way to advertise for my executive or corporate rental. Any advice, anything would be great. I tried the Airbnb. I did not like it doing it that way. So just any other ideas, any feedback anyone has would be great. How to advertise for that.
I'm a little bit surprised because of the fact that I know this real estate broker who was really good at corporate relocation, and she happens to be your real estate broker. So I'll make sure I mention it to Mary Jane and see if she's has any input back to you. She's not on the call tonight. She's taking care. She's right here in the house. I mean, for a few minutes she was actually right behind me. So, but I'll pass it on to her, and maybe you will give her, if you don't mind, give her a quick call tomorrow, because she's done a lot of things in corporate relocation.
I don't mind contacting her. We did talk a little bit about it. Unfortunately, one of the contacts that she had to do that, she no longer had, that person was no longer doing that. So,
yeah,
so
I know.
I've been struggling with, I mean, right now I'm okay because I have someone renting it until the end of November or December of this year. He's from Utah, but after that, it's like, I don't want to wait till the last minute, and I don't want to do Airbnb again with it.
Yeah, I know she had a lot of folks down in the southern tier at one point in time. So, you know, just touch base back with her. That'll be my input to you. Sorry to sort of interrupt, so to speak, with some of the thoughts other folks have.
No, that's fine with me.
So Marlene, have you tried Facebook or Craigslist groups?
I've advertised it on the marketplace.
Well, no, the groups.
I do have a Facebook page for it.
What I'm talking about is other groups. There are groups that specialize in particular arenas or fields, and this might be a group that's out there. You just gotta Google, put the name in, and the group will come up in terms of corporate rental group, whatever. I don't know if you've tried that before, but there are groups out there that just specifically deal with this sector of the market.
Okay, that's a good suggestion. Thank you.
Craigslist and Facebook groups.
There's a couple of other ones too. You can use corporate housing by owner. They cover the whole country.
That's who I've been advertised with them for I can't remember when I signed up with them, but I have had absolutely nothing.
What about Apartment Guide? Apartment Guide has corporate apartments, furnished corporate apartments for rent.
I think I've looked into that a little bit. Most of those are like apartments. I guess I haven't looked at, I've tried to research through them. And most of theirs are apartments, and I don't recall if I saw a way to advertise with them, but I can look into that also.
Could you do something with LinkedIn where you just contact the professionals themselves to see, or if they put something out there or something like that, to say, hey, I have a place in whatever area if they have a need for it.
Oh, that's another good suggestion. Thank you. No, that's something I haven't tried. That's why I thought if the more people I talk to and get it out there to, the more feedback I'll get and more ideas, ways to find people. So I appreciate it.
Have you tried Furnished Finder?
Vernon, I don't believe so. Thank you.
Because I was just in the breakout sessions, I was telling them one of the things that I wanted to do this year was perhaps turn one of my apartments into a rental for like traveling nurses.
Oh, I looked up traveling nurses. I've definitely done that, and that's a good idea also. I think Pat, I can't think of her last name at the moment, but she suggested she was doing visiting traveling nurses in her Airbnb. So that's a good idea too.
Yeah. What kind of downside did you have with the Airbnb?
People throwing parties, a little pretty destructive. I did, have problems with the HOA because people were throwing parties there, and it is a condo. So I have a, HOA, and I have other people that I have to be respectful of. And they said absolutely no Airbnb. So.
Yeah, so I was thinking about that as well, but I don't know. I haven't done anything with it yet, but I've been investigating for the traveling nurses.
Right.
And found the Furnished Finder website, and they'll. I called them and talked to them.
My suggestion would be, this is kind of off, but maybe somebody said this, is contact the HR at Strong and see, because it's not just nurses, they hire med techs and all sorts of other, traveling, whatever. So you may be able to get some contact with HR at one of the big hospitals to see who they use.
Okay, thank you. Great idea.
Great advice.
I have no connections there. Sorry.
I do appreciate all the input. This gives me a lot more to go on than what I had before I start asking the questions. So I appreciate it.
Marlene, it's Scott. Is the place furnished?
It's completely furnished, yes.
Okay. I rented to some insurance, some people, lost their homes in the fire, and had insurance companies rent a couple of units of mine. And one of them was furnished, and one wasn't furnished. And the insurance company's like, well, if it was furnished, we would give you like $400 more a month, because they had to rent all the furniture and all that. So then I did another one, and it was furnished, and while they're getting their house built and all that, it sometimes takes a year. But it's a short-term rental. The money comes from the insurance company. It's really good. And unfortunately, my contacts that I had are no longer doing it. But look into that, check, you probably have to Google it, but people want to live in the same neighborhood. Somebody lives in Fairport, has a house fire, wants to stay in Fairport because of the school district. If you have, if your property is in their neighborhood, it could just work as a short-term rental, and man, you get 2 to 3 times the normal rent. At least I did.
Right. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Couldn't you just check with like your insurance company too and ask them if they have any people like that that need housing.
I think I will do that since Scott mentioned it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. Okay.
Cool.
Thank you for
All right.
everyone's input.
Good. That's another way to make money in real estate other than being a landlord. So, and that's what we're all about. So who else has something? Anybody else have a question or something they want to?
Little freeze going on there.
Yeah, his signal quality went to red, so he'll probably, there he is. He's moving again. I can see his face. He's smiling. He's laughing at himself.
Come back, Scott.
Yeah, if I see Andy shake his head, I'm like, no, here I go. I'm frozen.
I'm just going to do this. So this is what we used to do when I was at Pioneer and I was running that national sales thing, and we had people all over the country. Whenever somebody would freeze that was talking, we would all just cock our heads like this and wait. And that would be the signal.
All right. Good enough. So, good.
No, let's do it.
It's like Carl's done it before. He's like a master.
No, you just taught us that tonight. I love it.
Yeah, I in as Leanne had said, in May I'll be speaking about self-storage, so I won't speak much on that tonight. It is starting to be a crowded field, I will say. A lot.
See, everybody's cocking their heads now. Oh, he might have completely dropped. His screen is off.
Is it really?
Yeah, he's gone.
You need to go to a Walmart parking lot. I told you that's the best spot, not your sister-in-law's spot.
You know, he's using a Sprint. He's not even connected to his sister-in-law's Wi-Fi. He's using a Sprint hotspot. I will say though that when I was the last time I was in Charlotte, I had AT&T, and the signal was absolute trash the whole time I was there, and I never had problems with AT&T before that, and that was my company phone, and it was god awful. It was terrible. It didn't matter where I was. Like, he's gone. He actually got kicked right off the stinking meeting.
He'll be back. He'll be back.
He will be, and that's okay. Technical difficulties. We gotta get Scott into the 21st century. Get him on Verizon or something.
Well, you could always, one of the things I do if I have to have a call, I park right by Panero's or right by Tim Hortons.
Yep.
Pull up as close to the building as I can, and I have never had a drop call.
Yep. Don't do that at Home Depot because the signal's terrible even when you're in the stores. So that doesn't work.
Yeah. No, not Home Depot.
No. Only if you want to be frustrated a lot. But yeah, so anybody who's not on Clubhouse, get on it as soon as you can. Mary, I followed Llewellyn already, so she can actually see now because I'm following her, so she can find me and find all the groups that I'm in. Just make her life easier.
Thank you.
You got it. So it's been eye-opening to say the least. I've been on it for a week, and it's pretty darn cool. It is worth the investment if you don't have an iPad or an iPhone. I don't know. I didn't have one until this point. It was functional and new. Like my kid had an iPad 2 from 10 years ago, but I bought an iPad Air 4 just so I could get onto Clubhouse, and it has been worth every penny. So
it's called Clubhouse, like just Clubhouse, or is it?
Yeah, it's an iPhone app. It's called Clubhouse. It is invite only. You have to have somebody who's in Clubhouse that has open invites available to send a text to your phone, or if you're on Android and you want to get on it with an iPad like I did, you need them to still punch your cell phone number in because that's your key to joining is your phone number. And you just use it when you log into the app on your iPad and it lets you in just like you're doing it from a phone. But it's a phone only app. So like, it's like a letterbox. It's the weirdest looking thing because you're using a phone app on an iPad. But once you get past that, it's fine.
Okay.
But I'm a Droid guy, so I can relate to everybody's pain when it comes to dealing with the the runaround trying to get on the stupid thing.
Yep. So
Oh,
now
Susan-
we're down to like 12 people. So
Yep, Susan rejoined. She came back. We lost somebody other than Scott at some point. I don't know who. Oh, it was Brandy. That's right. We figured that out.
yeah.
She
So,
bailed
I
on
mean,
us.
why don't we just open it up for people who have general questions, things that they have concerns about? I had sorry, I had in my breakout session, Gabriel was talking a bit about storage units and what it is that he was trying to accomplish there. Certainly, I expect him to have a fair amount of offline discussions with Scott. But you know, Gabriel, if you wanted to share some of your thoughts with the group, that'd be good. And you know, I mean, this is basically what Freedom First is all about. You have a group here, and this one is smaller than most, but there's goodness in that from the perspective that it gives you a chance to ask the specific questions that you need to ask so you can get to the next step that you're looking to get to.
He just rejoined, by the way. He'll be hopefully talking soon, as long as he actually gets a strong enough signal to. He is back here. I just don't know if he's connected completely or not.
Okay, so we'll hold that comment I just made in the queue, and let's see what you know, what Scott says here.
He's moving. His head's not okay. You're not allowed to turn your head to the side. That's not okay.
He's back.
He is back.
I thought you'd all have a sore neck from holding your head sideways so long.
That only worked for about the first 20 seconds. And then I saw your screen go black and I was like, all right, everybody can stop now.
Thank you. Yeah, for traveling, I have my Verizon phone and then I have a mobile hotspot through Sprint. And in certain areas, one works better than the other. So I've just decided to switch over to my Verizon hotspot.
And now you're at 5 bars and you're bright white. So you are good to go.
Okay, good. So what I miss?
Nothing. We actually just opened the floor to people who wanted to ask questions or discuss stuff. Leon was quizzing Gabe about his luck with self-storage, since that was the last thing that you were talking about before you got booted. But Gabe hadn't had time to respond.
Yeah, I didn't know what everything happened so fast. No. Well, what were you talking about, Leon? Are you there, Leon? What was your question again, though? To talk about something about storage. Is Leon still there?
Well,
I don't know. Maybe not.
Well, while Leon is there, Scott, let me ask you a question. You brought up a statement that was interesting, that the market is becoming oversaturated or is oversaturated. What's causing that?
I think a lot of people are switching out of residential rentals, and flipping, because right now you just can't. It's hard to find a house with a deal. I know that. I know that firsthand. A lot of people seem to be stepping away from that and getting into storage because it seems easier. It's a new hot thing.
Well, less risk, more money. What's the formula?
It's definitely just as much risk, because you're putting out $200,000-$300,000 on a facility. That's where you're signing that much for a note. There definitely is that, but it's like mobile home parks are starting to get real popular too. But to me, I don't have an interest in owning a mobile home park. But I think the biggest thing is people are starting to see that it's maybe easier than dealing with tenants, because it all gets automated. That's what we do. We automate them and just kind of not step away, but don't have to manage them right there. on site. So, and you can be remote and do it too. So I think people like that. So I think that's what I think. That's the reason I think people are getting into it. So.
What's involved in managing the storage unit? I mean, what do you have to do as opposed
Yeah.
to regular rental?
I'll speak quick, but I'll speak more on that in May. We put a fence up around them. We put a gate up around them with a keypad.
Oh no, here we go. Everybody cock your head to the side.
And if they don't call the call center, they get their keypad and they're in. So that's how we manage them. So.
Okay,
Wait.
it worked. He's back.
Yeah, wait. So, Scott, you're saying there's no on-site manager per se? This is all technology?
Yeah, mostly technology, but we do have we call it a boots on the ground. Somebody who works like 8 to 15 hours a month. They just drive by and make sure the units are locked and all that. So everything's taken care of.
Well, so renting payment, somehow they have to open up the garage and give her keys, so that there is boots on the ground there, right? So
No, the key, the doors have, sliding latches on them and they bring their own locks and put them on there. We don't even provide locks.
gotcha. Wow. I've been doing this all wrong for 38 freaking years. Where have you been, dude?
Yeah, you have to show up in May and learn. So, but Gabe, what about you? Gabe's new at it, and man, he's really turned it up. He's finding some deals, and one deal just didn't quite work out. Somebody got in just before him, and that probably would have been a decent deal. And then we looked at another one. The numbers were off, huh? But Gabe, what about you? Tell about your experience in the self-storage business.
My experience, man, I love it. I mean, I mean, that's all I think about day and night now. It's like, I learned so much. I know I had my restaurant and I was still learning the ropes, not learning the ropes, but learning the systems and everything business, while I had the other restaurant business, but enjoying the community and with all the people that I'm talking to and whatever, I've learned so much, but now I have so much more confidence and so much more of an appreciation to go after this project, and because of the opportunity, and how much opportunity it provides and how much freedom it provides me to be with my family more. And that's the one thing that's everyone asks, what's your why? Is I just want to be with my family, man, and I just want to do things for them. And I like last night, we had a meeting last night, Scott, you were there too. And I couldn't believe how much like Mike Wagner used to say, find the deal, you'll get the money. I'm like, holy cow, last night that was a great meeting. And the people there were just talking and talking about, financing and whatever. And they're just, it's like a family, like FFREIA is a family, so is our community too. But it's just so nice to know there's support out there. But and I found these deals and they fell through and the numbers weren't there, but that doesn't matter. There's something out there. There's always something out there. You can't just give up and be like, oh, that's it, throw your hands up in the air. There's always something there. And today I started to build a database of places that are not for sale, but like between towns of like 5,000 and 20,000 people, to see what the areas are and see how many storage units are in the area. But there's always someone saying, well, maybe I'll sell it, some older guy or whatever, or like Scott says, someone that their kids inherit it. There's always something. You can't say no and just forget about it. So you can't give up, period. And Scott, August 15th, don't forget, we're going to talk about this on August 15th when I have my contract.
All right, good. August
Gabriel.
15th, glad to hear it.
Gabriel, a lot of great advice and enthusiasm. It's contagious. It's great stuff.
Yeah, man, it is. I love, I'd be honest with you guys. I had the restaurant for 22 years and I didn't like getting up and going to work. I'm sorry, I know, but now I'm like, yeah, it's cool.
That's good. Good for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, and I will say, with storage, yeah, it's been fun. It's been a transition for my wife and I. And, you know, at the May general meeting, I'm going to find a stable internet connection and I'll do a little presentation, answer questions there. So, who else has questions other than storage? I want to give somebody else a chance to ask their questions. So,
I have a
Nobody has
question.
that.
Yes. Would anybody have any good tips on buying, I guess, property outside of the local area? Even like if I wanted to look at something in another state, is there something I should do about that? Like even finding someone to manage it,
Well, the first question,
evaluating it?
first question is, Leslie, why? Okay, why? Why are you doing that? Okay. And-
Lower taxes, less regulations.
I get
Cheaper
that.
prices.
And that's why a lot of us are looking out of New York State for, let me tell you something. It's like learning a whole new market. I mean, if you, first of all, I suggest you have a connection to the market. Don't go cold-blooded. Like I heard about this. Have a connection, a family member, friend, somebody, a real estate agent, an investor connection to the area, and then learn the area, learn the market. Take time to learn the market, understand the nuances of the market. If you want to go into a different state, different market, so important to succeed. I mean, that's my advice, and that. And I'm going through that right now. I have a foot in Florida. I think I told Scott this. In terms of goals, Scott, by the end of the year, I got a spot in Florida. I will have a place in Florida, as well as I have other places around the country. I won't get into that, but if you are going to be a hands-on investor, hiring a property manager, learn the market and make sure the numbers work before you think about investing in that market.
And that's the other thing. Part of the reason why where we are, number one, there's two reasons. If you're just going to flip right now and you're not looking to rent it or manage it, flipping right now here, it's still a ridiculously hot market with very little supply. So if you're looking to sell it to a first-time home buyer or something like that, your opportunities are way better. The other thing is that you've got a lower barrier to entry since you're not going to hold it for long, hopefully. I mean, if you're going to do this, I suggest you figure out a way to buy it and get it completed within 6 months and back on the market again. But you're not going to be worried about property taxes as much. So half the reason there's such a low barrier to entry is because our property values are depressed, and our property values are depressed because the freaking taxes are stupid. So if your target is that 100K, good luck out of New York, moving into a new market to find something where you can ARV it for that.
Let me recommend this. Focus on the location you're most familiar with, the area that you have most experience in. You'll do better. If it happens to be here, fine. Do the deals here, but it's an area that you have experience. You know the numbers. You know the market. You know the market forces. You know numbers. Take all of that and throw it into a different state. You are you're in for trouble without knowing that stuff. So that's why the path of least resistance is dealing in the market that you're most familiar with right now. Unless you want to learn a new market and take the time to do so, that's fine. That's my advice on that.
Okay. Yeah, I was just kind of thinking of it as an option.
Yeah, I mean,
Actually, for both scenarios, either renting or flipping. But you know, just trying to look at all what options I have, what possibilities.
yeah, I mean, I think,
looking at them all, trying to.
yeah, Leslie, I agree with Carl. Carl has a fair amount of experience, knowledge with Florida. I do the same thing with Texas. I know most of the streets in Houston, Texas, better than I know in Rochester, and I lived here for over 40 years. And so have rentals there. And every word that he made, every comment he made is right on point. I mean, you really need to know those areas. And it's, I mean, it's just basic fundamental things I say to people. Start off with understanding the basic fundamental laws associated with that particular state. What are the foreclosure laws? What are the laws associated with rentals? For most people, it takes a time to get through that. Certainly that was true with me, but to Carl's point, what happened is I basically learned and understood the market. I understood how tax sales worked, so you got a wide range there, but it's something that you need to understand because it's different. And I've given this example before, and I give it again. In the state of Texas, I, Leon Griggs Jr., have foreclosed on someone in 45 days. I've also evicted someone. It took me 120 days. You see the difference in the shift. It's just because of the states and how their statutory laws work versus New York. One of the things I tell you right up front, and I think that's a little bit about where you're coming from with some of your comments. There are not too many places, and this here United States, and the only place that maybe would compete would be Florida. That is more difficult for some people who's trying to do business-oriented item and understanding all the pieces that make it work. So hopefully that helps. I just wanted to interject my thoughts there.
Good
Thank
points.
you.
Good points.
Carl, Leon, thanks for your advice.
Thank you, sir.
And Andy.
Yeah. Another advantage of being part of the FREIA group, as far as REIA, is if you travel, you can find out if there's a local REIA group there, and some are having meetings. I do know that. So Leslie, and also I think, I don't know for sure, but you probably access online to the different REIAs. And if you had a market there, you might be able to check with a couple people at the REIA just online and get their input on rentals there. I do know people investing in Cleveland, Ohio. It's 4 hours from Rochester. It's not too bad. And, they've been just a different market. They just are comfortable renting out there. So, but yeah, definitely know your market. And that's through the REIA group. I think you can find out more about the markets if you wanted to go somewhere else.
Bigger pockets too.
Yeah, bigger pockets. Yeah, very good.
Just for people to understand, I mean, some REIA groups, I actually at one point thought it was all of them, but I think that there's some REIA groups that do not have to follow this general approach, where if you're a member of a REIA, then you can go to another REIA's meeting basically for free. Clearly, it all counts on what it is that they're doing. If they have some special speaker that's coming in, that might be a bit of a challenge. But in general, if you're a member of Freedom First and you go to Ohio, you should be able to attend one of their meetings without any question around costs for attending the session. And as I indicated, a little bit of a disclaimer from the standpoint that all of them don't do it that way, but the vast majority do.
As long as they're members of National REIA, anyway, because there's REIAs like Canandaigua here, Finger Lakes, and Syracuse. Syracuse is actually a part of Think Multifamily. They're not a part of National REIA. So
those don't count.
Yeah, but you just gotta know who their parent org is if they have a parent org, because there's the one in Albany. It's privately held. They're not a part of anything. And it's all about getting the owners people to hire them as coaches to the tune of $30,000 to $40,000 a year. So you just have to Watch Glenn Schwarm. I love the guy. He knows what he's talking about. They're great at flipping houses. They're great at property management. But holy crap, 30 G's.
Like some other group that has come to town saying, talking about flipping houses.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, if you look at a lot of the organization and what it is they do, I mean, it's not 100% situation where they're looking just to get dollars, but that's part of their approach to things and part of their portfolio of items that they're going to provide to you is associated with those lines. I mean, we have people, I know personally, people will pay $25,000, people will pay $100,000 to be a member of some of those particular groups and organizations that you're talking about. I would submit to you that, and this is always up for debate, but, and I might be a little bit out of place, but, you know, typically if you join these sessions, go through these things, and everybody knows what the membership is, it's going to give you an opportunity to know and understand what's going on before you put those type of dollars down. So, but I mean, that's why we do these sessions, basically 5 of them a month, so that we're able to have people ask any questions. We got a small group of people here, and you could ask pretty much any question that you want to associated with real estate, and we're going to answer it for you as best as we can. And if you are local to this particular area, I guess I would challenge most organizations along the lines that we previously talked about to be able to answer it better than we can. I don't think that that's possible because we are here in this area familiar with what's happening and what's going on.
Agreed. Absolutely correct. On that note, I think we're down to about 5 minutes left before the end. It seems like we lost Scott. He may not be rejoining. So kind of is what it is. I will just talk a little for a second about what's coming down the pipe right now. Next week, we have Carl's meeting. He's good enough to be here with us tonight. Same bat time, same bat channel. Kicking it old school. It's long before I was born. The next thing we have after that, we've got the general meeting coming in April with the topic TBD. I was hoping to get somebody to speak at that, and I'm going to tell Leon this in the morning, but I'll tell him now since he's here that I do not have a solid firm answer, so we should plan on alternates if at all possible to make that go. And then we have a lot of stuff that is up on the website currently, all of these meetings, the one you're sitting in now, the housing provider support that Carl runs, the one that Pat runs, the morning version of this meeting, and the general meetings are all up on FFREIA behind the paywall. If you're not a member, you can't see them. You can see this meeting and the housing provider support meetings on YouTube at no charge. You have to go subscribe to the channel to get updates. They're updated the day after the meeting. So tomorrow morning, look on YouTube, you'll see this meeting. It will be available. Carl is getting us some information and some forms and paperwork. I'm going to steal some from Jamie and put some of that stuff up there from Boil and Code that's on their RERT site. And there's a lot of information. There's going to be a massive information dump on Jamie's meeting next Wednesday. And I believe, Carl, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't Colleen doing a meeting tomorrow morning at 9 for how to flip and what products to use? Did I see that correctly?
Great question. So maybe I am not privy to her announcements, but I get them at the last minute, so possibly.
Yeah, let me just interject there.
Yeah, help.
Yeah, yeah, Colleen is gonna be doing something on Friday around the areas that you talked about. So that should be interesting to see some of those things. One of the things I want to just to add a bit to what Andy just talked about. You know, the next meeting that we have coming up is actually Carl's meeting.
What? What are you talking about?
What do you mean? What am I talking about?
Yeah.
Did you decide not to do it?
No, what are you talking about? What meeting?
Okay. And then we have the first meeting of the month associated with the alternative group, and then we go to the general meeting. So we have those things coming up, basically 5 meetings a month, and allow people to ask their specific questions, get information, and provide in-depth discussions around the things that they find as being important.
Well, Leon, let me interject. So
Yes.
apparently, next March 25th, a week from now, we should have in hand the rollout, the process, and the information about the $22 million sitting in the bank to apply for rental arrears for tenants who are behind in rent in the process in doing so. So I think by next Thursday, we're going to have the information on that night. So pop on in. That's a little tip. Pop on in.
So you're going to tell us exactly how to get the money, are you?
Well, there's going to be the process. There's a launch in terms of the process and information as to how to go about that process. Yes.
I understand. I was just being a bit facetious there. Okay, so yeah, I mean, and clearly they've had this $22 million for like a year, and landlords are hurting all over the place, and no one can get the money. I mean, it's like, okay, yeah, so that should be a very interesting meeting. I, as you would expect, would be on and listening to that. So great. So Andy, I'll give it back to you. You got some other items?
I was just gonna say Scott's back, so he can finish up however he wants to finish up the meeting, because I
Okay.
have nothing else other than to say, go to the website, join, because it costs us money. So Leanne doesn't get paid, Susan doesn't get paid, Joe doesn't get paid. I say that every time, right? Carl doesn't get paid, Scott doesn't get paid, Joe doesn't get paid. The other Joe Labavera, who decided to bail on us tonight, right? None of the hosts get paid, but it costs us money to maintain the website. It costs us money to have Zoom. It costs us money to have the videos hosted. It costs us money to have the products hosted on the website for download, all the documents and everything. Everything costs money. Nothing is free. I know it's shocking in today's world that nothing is free, but nothing is free. So if you're not a member, become a member. I don't even know. That's all I got. Scott, it's all you.
The membership fees pay for this kind of stuff that Andy's talking about. But Scott, you're back. You have closing arguments. Go ahead.
Super.
I have no arguments other than I agree with Andy. We did okay in real estate, and really the biggest reason is because of FFREIA. There was another group years ago that we didn't like the way it was being run, and then some people started up the FFREIA group, and then Leon, Joe, and Susan kind of took it over to run it, and it's made a big difference in my life. So I can't say enough good things about the membership. I look forward to presenting in May. I'm really new at self-storage. I can kind of talk about it and give people ideas and stuff, but I'll just be sharing information. But yeah, I can't join FFREIA, get other people to join FFREIA, join these meetings when there's more people. We've had these meetings with up to 50 people on, and they work out really good. So Annette, I hope everybody has a good night. I'll hang on for a few minutes. If somebody wants to chat or ask questions or something like that, I'll hang on for another 5. I'll hold on until 8:40. So I'll hold on 7 more minutes if my connection allows me. So thanks, everybody.
So
Nice.
just a quick interjection on my part. You know, as real estate investors, we look for the next plateau, so to speak. And one of the areas that
Hello?
Scott did really great in was associated with, you know, rent to own, basically that approach to things. So don't be surprised if you don't see him come back. I haven't asked him yet, but come back and do some presentations associated with how you do rent to own and make a whole bunch of money.
Oh, that would be great because that's one of the things that I was interested in. I just talked about that in our breakout group.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
I had another question. How do we get to Colleen's meeting tomorrow? More information.
Let me find her invite that because I did get it and I got it
Did?
a couple days. I did. I'm gonna put it up
Alright.
in the chat box because I have the link. Oh, you know what? I didn't get an invite. What I did was her invite itself has a thing in it to just add it to your calendar automatically every single month or every 2 weeks. And I added that. So I don't have the topic, but I have the Zoom link. So do not click that Zoom link because you will leave this meeting and go to Colleen's meeting right now. You have to highlight it and copy it and drop it somewhere if you can.
Did you, oh, you just put that in chat?
Yep.
Yep.
That is the link for Colleen's meeting tomorrow morning at 9.
Okay.
But if you click it, it's gonna pop out. And yes, there you go. Thank you, Susan. rochesterhouses@gmail.com. Shoot her a note and she will get you a link. Or I don't know how many people monitor that email. There's probably more than one person. Brian probably looks at it too. So.
Okay, guys, I had one other question before y'all hang up. Can anybody recommend a granite cutter installer? I'm doing
Yeah.
a flip and
Yep.
I sometimes have a hard time finding one of those.
Where are you located at?
The house is in Williamson.
Okay, so Atlantic. Located on Empire Boulevard, across from, it used to be Murphy's Law. I'm assuming it's still there, but in these days and time, it's hard to tell. But I've used them before. Excellent work, excellent prices.
What's it called? Atlantic Granite?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, I'll look it up. I'll look the phone number up. Great, thank you.
Yep. If there's any question, we got something
Yep.
messed up, give me a call.
Just be aware, this is me doing my procurement thing. Lots of the granite coming from China, the 2 centimeter and the 3 centimeter stuff is sitting in containers off the coast of California.
Yep.
So supplies are limited, prices are up. You will not get it installed for $40 a square foot like you could a year ago. It's not going to happen. You're going to be closer to 70.
Yep.
Just be aware.
Do you have to buy the granite from Atlantic? Because I have granite already that I bought from an auction that I want. know,
I don't know if they will do that, but
they might do it just because of the fact that they get the granite, they cut it, they do all those things, but there still might be an issue there. You would have to talk to them directly. Andy, I cut you off there. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, if they won't do it, you might be able to get the guys in Webster there, Rocky Mountain. They might do it potentially. And they're right on Basket Road, right off of 104. They're right across the street from Xerox. So they might do it as well.
All right, great. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that people, I mean, I don't know whether you talked about this before I got on the call, but the prices of everything is up. The contractors are, I find it more of a challenge to work with them So, we need to get over this hump. Hopefully it's a hump, from the standpoint of the prices and the cost. I mean, I go in the Home Depot and I get a 2x4 one day, and I come back a week later and it's like $1 more.
Yeah, hold on, Leon. A
Yes.
2x4, 8-foot pressure treated today, $9.
Yeah,
And 2 weeks ago, there was $348.
yeah,
Oh my
Yep.
God.
Wow.
yeah.
Yep, it's because they were still sitting on last year's stock. Now they've got fresh stuff in for this year and they're paying
Yep.
market. And that's the reason.
Yep.
As soon as they pay market, cost spikes. So that's why you're seeing, if you go to buy a sheet of 3/4 Advantech right now, if you get it for less than $70 a sheet, you're in a good place. It's insanity right now.
Yep. It's unbelievable. But, hopefully things will begin to settle out. God knows when that'll take place.
No, it's record high. It's higher than it was in September of last year, and it continues to just keep going up. And
Yeah.
we're not even into busy season yet. So right now, your average house is like $30,000 more just based off of lumber prices than it was last year, and steel is up as well. So like if you're thinking, oh, I'll just use steel studs, yeah, no, it's not going to work. That's not going to help you. You're pretty much there's no good way to win this fight at this point unless you're willing to wait. And
I mean,
you got to watch your rehab costs. If you're flipping houses right now, I mean, drywall is really the only thing that's not heavily impacted. It's a little bit up, but nowhere near what everything else is. So, I mean, if you're just doing drywall and you can use the existing wall layout and studs, you're golden. If you have to replace studs or build walls or put a deck on, good luck.
Yeah, I mean, I just completed a house where I had to rebuild the interior of the walls and stuff. So that's why I'm familiar with the cost of the studs. From one week to the next, it's like, wait a minute. The first time it was like this deep shock. I used to pay $3 and something for that. How is it $5? But it just went up that much. The other thing to keep in mind is we need to expect another price hike, and it's because of the price of gas and oil. I mean, that going up on top of the other things means that it's not going to be coming down anytime soon, if it comes down at all.
Yeah, you'll see your roofing shingles and your vinyl siding, your vinyl windows, all that stuff will go up because it's directly tied to the price of a barrel of oil. So.
Yep. So the numbers, just be careful, as Andy indicated. That's his business. He understands it better than any person I know.
Well, thank you, sir. That's very kind. It's a pain in my side because people call me and they're like, hey, can you find me 700 suites of appliances? And I go, can you wait a year and a half? Because no is my best answer. Like Kohler sent an email out to all their dealers last week telling them that they're not allowed to sell half of their toilet line until June of 2022. Like, this is the worst I've ever seen this market, and I've been in it for 24 years. This has never happened, ever, in history.
Crazy.
Luckily, if you need toilets, Home Depot's got plenty of them coming from Niagara. Niagara's got like more than anybody else out there, and that should be the toilet you're using anyway. So I'll pump my buddy over at the Niagara side at Home Depot. Get the flapperless toilet. If you're still using toilets with flappers, you're wrong, and it's costing you money, and you're a bad person. No, you're not a bad person, but you're not doing the right thing for your business.
What toilet is this?
Niagara.
Niagara Stealth. It's not on the shelf. You have to order it. It's $129. It has no flapper. It has a Fluid Master standard fill valve.
It's got a flip thing.
No, it doesn't. It's a vacuum powered flush. It's a 0.8 gallon flush. It is a tiny little nothing. But when I saved that apartment complex, I think it was $85,000 a year for the 720 units that they had on ground. It was using that toilet and a shower head and an aerator. It was it.
Okay,
Saved them that much on what? Water?
Water and sewer. Their bill was 330,000 a year, and I knocked 85 grand a year off. It cost them $250,000 to do the project, and they will be flush in 30 months.
okay, so put it in the chat, the information. I need to buy 3 toilets for my rehab that I'm doing now. So, because I mean, we're off on some tangential discussion here, and we're talking about ways that if you have a 3-unit or 4-unit place that you need to do an upgrade on, it's going to save you more than your Freedom First membership fees in just a sec. So it's really, and I've always been one of those scientifically based people who know me know that. I've always said, well, now, why do we still have this toilet that operates this way? But I never heard of this one before. So I apologize for that, but I have the information. So the 3 toilets I'm gonna buy is gonna be these, given the input from 2 of the more resourceful people I know.
Yep. The biggest thing that it does for a property manager, especially on scattered sites, I mean, on multifamily, it's a no-brainer because it saves, and you usually have a big enough stack where you're venting good. When you're scattered sites, just the fact that you don't have to worry about a leaky toilet affecting your taxes, because guess what, Rochester, if you're paying your taxes, you're paying sewer. Your sewer is based on your water use. If your water is going piss down the drain, you're paying extra in property taxes. And now that people are home all the time and working from home still,
yeah,
your water use has gone through the roof. So your taxes are going to go up whether you like it or not.
Good point. I have some properties that have a lot of high water bills.
Yep. So they make a nice spa style square rain head shower head that's like 1.75 gallons. Nobody notices when you install it. You put half like a 0.5 gallon or a 1 gallon aerator on, and then you use those toilets, and your water use drops by 30%. So you can just immediately see a tax break if you've got sewers. Anyway, I know not everybody's going to have sewers, but in Rochester, at least they ding you. So take advantage. Hey, welcome back, Scott.
So they make the shower heads and the toilets.
Yep. Shower heads, toilets. I mean, Niagara makes everything. So if you see Glacier Bay is actually made by Niagara for Home Depot. It's their private label product, but Glacier Bay is not okay. Like, buy real Niagara stuff. Glacier Bay, no good, no bueno. Unless you've got venting problems, they do make a 1.28 version of the vacuum that's a Glacier Bay private label. It's brand new. But like, I don't know. I'm not a Glacier Bay fan. So I like the Niagara stuff, but you have to have your venting set up right. So you need a stack that's cleared out and functioning properly for the vacuum assist to work the way it's supposed to.
I'm glad you provided that clarification, because I thought Niagara was great when you first started talking, and then you mentioned Glacier Bay, and it's like, Glacier Bay? No way. There's got to be some of the most terrible items that you ever want to buy.
Yep. The biggest thing is get rid of the flapper, because you won't have to replace another one ever. And the Stealth has a 15-year mechanical warranty. So if any of the guts ever fail, they give you the parts for free, and it's lifetime on the porcelain. So it's like you put it in and you walk the hell away and you never worry about it again, basically.
I mean, it's a little bit of, you could say information associated with housing providers, but that's just unbelievable. A toilet is running and the tenant don't call you. How long does it take to pay for that toilet? And the fact that it's going to be a situation where you don't have to go in and do the maintenance and all those sorts of things. It's a no-brainer.
Yep. It should be.
Well, have your tenant reimburse you for the water bill.
Good luck.
Make them pay.
Yeah.
Good Good luck getting them to pay their rent, let alone reimburse you for the water bill. Holy
Yeah.
crap.
Absolutely. You know,
Where can you buy those at? Who sells them?
So it's Home Depot is the primary because they have the best price on it. They're 129 bucks for the round and the elongated. Doesn't matter which one. They're on special right now. If you buy 6 or more at a time, I think the price is automatically 129. But you can get them at Ferguson, you can get them at VP, but your price is going to be about 180 bucks. So there's a Toto version that doesn't have a flapper that's not vacuum assisted because it's patented that people seem to like, but they don't flush as well. They have issues. That vacuum, you need that extra push for a low flow toilet to make it get the stuff out. So I'd say just go to Depot, go to the Pro Desk, because the people in the aisle will have no idea what the hell you're talking about. Some of the people at the Pro Desk might not know what you're talking about. So I think Chris Andrews is still the guy who took who replaced me when I left. If you can't get help at the desk, say, can you call Chris Andrews and ask him? And he will tell them where to find it and how to order it for you. It's not the same since I left. I'm just saying.
All right, I'm out.
Good night,
Thanks, everybody.
Scott.
Thanks for joining. You guys stay on. Thanks for running this, Andy. Have a good night.
You too, buddy. See you later, Val.
Good night, guys.
Yeah, I think we're all done.
Yeah, we're
all
done.
Night.
Yeah.
Okay, good night.
We're out.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Take care. Take care,
Thank
Scott.
you.
Bye, bye, guys.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks, guys.
See you again.